World Tank Blitzers, it's a Littlefinger. Hey, wanted to do a video here about learning from your losses, and I've got the agent pulled up, and that's because the replays I'm going to show you are all from agent games. Now, if you've paid for the premium pass for this month's pass, then you're probably getting pretty close if you've completed all of your missions to getting the agent. I got it yesterday and played 12 games in it, and I'm sitting at a 50% win rate, but my damage per battle is over 1700, which is not too bad considering the teams that I've had. And so I wanted to just jump into some games and break them down a little bit. Alright guys, so here is my very first battle in the agent. Port Bay here, Supremacy. And I think the takeaway from this battle is just how chaotic it is. I call C, and I tell the team I'm crossing, and I want help at C. Spike says he's going to help me, but the KV-1 decides that he's going to go A, and so we don't have a full force team effort going to C. So as a good Blitz player, I'm looking at my map and making a decision that, you know, if I go alone to C, or if I have one tank with me and they have a majority of tanks over there, then it's going to be a very quick game for me, and I'm going to die early. I'm going to be frustrated and not do much damage. But instead, what I decide to do is go back and help my team. But then I'm distracted here because that Type 58 only has 2 tanks on him at the moment, and I know there's some tanks over in the heavy, so I'm thinking maybe I can help him. Well, a third tank shows up, which means that he has put himself in that position I'm talking about where you're going to die early and you're not going to do much damage. So knowing that they've got 3 tanks over there, I need to get back to my team and do damage. And this game, I can already tell, is going to be a loss. You know, there's no focus fire. There's we're pretty much surrounded at this point, and I am just basically using the tank's speed and mobility to cause chaos and try to stay alive long enough to do damage. But I feel it's a foregone conclusion that this game's over. Trying to help our KV-1, well, he ends up doing 0 damage in this game. So this is one of those things that we just have to face in the game, is that not every game is winnable. A lot of these games are predetermined, but by making proper game choices, you can certainly help out, say, your damage numbers. As you can see there, I was the last tank alive, even though I spelled knew it wrong. I think I got my point across. And so at 1560, we are well above everybody else here in damage. A very frustrating game. Not a single person on this list is above 50%. And when we look at the other side, they had 4 of their 7 over 50%. So, like I said, the game is sometimes foregone conclusion, but we can't let that frustrate us. Alright guys, so that last game was a bit out of control, yet I do feel a little bit that your job as a light tank is, as the spotter, as the chaos coordinator, or whatever you want to call it, that is part of your role in this tank. So in this game, and kind of what I picked up from the last game was, had I made some different decisions, had I, as soon as I knew that KV-1 was going to the port, the town, whatever you want to call it, had I gone with him and stayed on the edge of the map, would things have turned out any differently? And so this map here is a little bit easier to control that. I like to get into this little position here just to keep the heavies and the TDs honest. But I don't have any help with my TDs pushing, and our P-43 just gets exposed out in the open and taken out early. And I'm noticing, you know, that we got the KV-2 here. They do have a T-1, and I have to respect that tank. A lot of frontal armor. It could be difficult for me. You know, and I'm just not certain what this M6 here is doing. But we've got targets, we're putting in damage, we're being useful at this location, so I don't feel that my decision to come here was necessarily wrong. And, you know, we're preventing or slowing the Reds' advance on the other side. The problem here a little bit is you look behind me, we've got an SU-85 and an SU-100 just in completely useless positions down here. And that has prevented us from being able to push on the heavies. But once I realized that the mediums on the other side are going to start pushing me if I don't do something, you know, I am going to help this M6. Now both of them are light tanks, and this is kind of where the chaos comes in as we get the kill there, up and over here, and get the kill on the SU. But all of our activity has been limited to just those tanks on the other side. We're not like the other game in the middle of them all. So I think that's one of my takeaways from these battles here, is to try to keep yourself from being in the middle of an assault. Now this SU-100, for hiding all game, I have no idea why he decided just to pull out in front of all of these tanks that he had to have known were going to be coming around. Game might have turned out a little bit differently had I not taken that shot and taken the shot here on the P-43, who's being super aggressive. Because you can see right now I got him down to a one shot, trying to get away from this fire from behind me. And we finish off the P-43. The Leopard's a one shot. The KV-2 we can deal with. But for whatever reason, that M6, why are you on top of that hill? Yeah, that's just not being helpful. And so the game is going to come down to obviously being another loss. 3-on-1 here. There's no way I'm coming. This map's too small. Too many open spots. Get taken out by the M4 Easy 8. But I think a better played game from taking away from the previous game, where I got myself into trouble by getting shot by multiple tanks at one time. Alright guys, so again, last game here, learning from our losses. And you know what I've kind of described, I think everyone probably knows that the second you hit that battle button, you have got approximately a 50% chance of winning or losing. And it's the decisions that you make within the game, as well as the decisions that your teammates make, that's going to dictate the outcome, right? And so it's a little bit easier to talk about this in a light tank when you have the speed and mobility to get around. But I just thought this was kind of interesting with having played only 12 games in this, and just to have this many lopsided battles. I know it's one of the concerns I have about the game moving forward, and that's, you know, why I've wanted to try to focus on the close games, those heartbreakers, whether they're wins or losses. And I've taken my time here and circled the map, and they have all gone across the bridge there to C. So our two guys are not much longer for this game. Now, knowing that when we hit that battle button, there's a high likelihood of it being a lopsided battle, it really makes your decision making all that much more important, and how enjoyable the game is, right? So if you're only going to get one or two shots off and get steamrolled, that cannot be fun. But if you can hang on and be the last one alive, I do think that that adds value and makes the game more fun. So do really try as best you can to make those smart decisions and not get yourself into trouble like I did, say, in that first game. You know, we're already down 2 guns. We do have 2 caps, so time is on our side at this point, and staying alive is really important. So keep that in mind, especially in supremacy games. Defense is key if you're up in cap points, and not waiting too long to be aggressive when you're down. And I was really hoping to get a shot in that T-34, and now I realize this M4 is right here. So we're going to get a shot into him, drop adrenaline, and you know, I'm thinking about running away at this point. Want to get that second shot in. Again, not a great idea to trade shots, but you can see it's 7-on-2, and I don't know where this SU's been, but probably, you know, driving out into the middle of all of those tanks in the river there was not a smart idea. So make sure you're using your tank's ability, the hard cover. Whenever I can, I'm making sure that I am as protected as possible. Big bounce there was kind of unfortunate, as the T-34 does have good armor. He turned just at the right time, and we should be able to finish him off. There's that shot. And a disappointing shot here as we hit the mantlet. But you can see they've now overtaken us in cap points, and it's 5-on-1. So not a good possibility of getting away with this. Perhaps I should have gone straight into C there and just tried to stop the clock a little bit, knowing that I have 2 one-shot tanks on the other side. Just trying to keep it close. So you can see with that kill we get it even again, but we need another kill. And you know, I was hoping that M6 was gonna come across the bridge, but he doesn't. So too many hit points in front of us to finish this one off. As her tossing our turret across the map. But so I guess the point I want to make is, you know, while these were all very lopsided losses, and I could get very frustrated and upset about it, that is the state of the game. Be prepared for those games and make those decisions so that you can be at the top of that damage list most of the time. And that's where you want to get to, I think, to enjoy the game a little bit more. So if you guys have any tips or, you know, ideas on what you do, put them in the comments below. And, you know, of course, I want to try to keep this as friendly and positive as possible, and teaching people to play the game better than this M4 and this T14 and the SU100 here will go a long way to doing that. So remember, guys, have fun out there. That's the #1 thing, right? Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.